survive fight shoes.
What's good, everybody? You know who I am. This your boy Blackout Jones. This is Just Shooting the Sports. And before I get into the Joey Aguilar situation, I want to give my condolences to Wes Rucker, the Wes Rucker family, his friends, his colleagues, of course, you know, the entire University of Tennessee fan base for his passing that took place Friday. Not sure what time Friday, but he was involved in a car crash on I-40 near Cedar Bluff. Unfortunately, he lost his life at a very young age, at the age of 43. He was definitely a pillar within the community, within the sports world, and especially, you know, covering University of Tennessee sports. I want to read a little bit of information on Wes Rucker in regards to his contributions to the University of Tennessee. I want to go ahead and start out, and I'm reading this from, I think, 10 News 10. I want to say it's out of Knoxville. So I just want to kind of go over some information in regards to Wes Rucker. He first started covering UT in the year of 2000 as a student journalist for the campus newspaper, the Daily Beacon. He freelanced for the Farragut Press Enterprise, the Daily Times, and the Chattanooga Times Free Press before joining the Times Free Press full time. There, he covered a wide range of college and professional sports before the paper brought him back to Knoxville to focus on the Vols. In 2011, he joined 247 Sports and CBS as a senior writer. He hosted 2 radio shows, ESPN Radio Knoxville, The Wes Rucker Show, and Swain and Rucker, and was the host of the Go Balls 247 podcast. Over the years, he also appeared on the Paul Feinbein Show and several other SEC Network video and audio programs. He joined WBIR in August of 2025 as a guest columnist before becoming the host of the videocast 10 at 3 with Wes Rucker, which launched on November 18, 2025. Dang, that's my sister's birthday. Though the show was not originally planned as a daily program, Wes never missed a recording, amassing more than 70 episodes through his dedication to his profession. What made Rucker's voice so distinctive and so valued was that he was entirely his own. He did not soften his takes to avoid criticism. He said exactly what he believed, and he did so unapologetically. Vols fans did not always agree with him, but they always knew where he stood. His journalism earned national and state Associated Press Sports Editors Awards for breaking news, game coverage, and investigation into doping and professional cycling, and a series of commemorating the 15th anniversary of the Atlanta Braves' worst the first 1991 season. He has been a Heisman Trophy voter, a Biletnikoff Trophy voter, an AP football and basketball poll voter, and a contributor to the AP All-America team in all SEC selections. At age of 32, he had a stroke and he had to learn to walk again. He was a passionate advocate for East Tennessee Children's Hospital, inspired by his family's journey navigating his son's health challenges. WBIR News Director Corey Presley shared a statement. He stated that Wes brought an undeniable energy to our newsroom, and we are honored to call him a colleague and a friend. His passion for sports journalism and a tremendous impact on our newsroom, our community, and the teams, leagues, and athletics he followed and covered. While Wes' death is a tremendous loss for our colleagues and community, it is most difficult for his wife and his young family. Our thoughts are with him and everyone who loved him. We offer our support, prayers, and comfort to them during this incredibly difficult time. The WBIR President and General Manager David Hunt also shared his statement. We are deeply saddened by the loss of Wes Rucker during this time at WBIR and throughout his coverage of the University of Tennessee. Wes exemplified integrity, insight, and a genuine love for this community. Our heartfelt condolences go out to his family and loved ones during this incredible, difficult time. He will definitely, truly be missed. With all that being said, I remember around the Bush Jones years, I watched Wes Rucker and his crew. I think at one point he had like, what was it, Wes Rucker, God, what did he call it? Wes Rucker, shoot, I forgot the name of the whatever he called it, but it was him and a couple other guys. And before the Brent Hubs, before the Austin Price, before Matt Ray, before I started looking at those guys, I looked at Wes Rucker and his guys every single day, talking about, practice, talking about, pre-game, post-game, off-season, recruiting, all those things. So those are the first guys that I actually watched religiously. And then somehow I kind of fell off, and then I ended up, watching like, Brett Hubbs and Austin Price and Matt Ray and all those guys, talking about, Tennessee football, pretty much all Tennessee. And I didn't even know about Swain and Rucker. I knew about, Swain and Ben, I forgot his name, Swain and, McKee, Ben McKee. I know those guys, but I never knew that, Swain and Rucker had their own show. So that was definitely an eye opener for me. What's going on, Charlie Bulldog Hunter? Man, how's it going, man? Shoot, hey, everybody, I'm doing great. I don't know how everybody else doing right now, but I'm doing fantastic. So, I just want to give him a big shout out. Unfortunately, at this time, you never expect, someone to pass away. It's never expected. We know that, our time will be up soon. We know that, we have one life to live. It's all about how you live it, but we don't know the time of when that time comes, And I was, I forgot where I was at when I saw the news. I just looked at it in disbelief. I couldn't believe it. So I hurried up and tried to see, okay, what happened? And then I saw it was a car crash. And unfortunately, he was the only one. It was like a pileup, but he was the only one that lost his life, unfortunately. So once again, I want to give my prayers, my condolences to the Wes Rucker family, to his wife, to his kids, to his brothers, his dad, like I said, his colleagues, and of course, the Vol Nation as a whole. So, Wes Rucker, man, we thank you for everything that you did for the University of Tennessee, everything that you did in life. So I just want to say, man, salute to you, man. And I know, the big man in the sky is going to be waiting on you, brother. Whew. All right. So now I have gotten that out the way. Let's go ahead and talk about Joey Aguilar and his denial of eligibility for the 2026 season. It was one of those situations. I spoke about it a couple of times. I spoke about it last time on live when I was on live, that it didn't matter which way the pendulum swung. It was either he was going to be here or he wasn't going to be here. If he was going to win, fine. I'm rolling with Joey. Had no qualms about that. But if he didn't win, then we got 3 quarterbacks in that room. Technically, we got 4. Somebody please put respect on Mason Phillips' name. I don't know why we can't do that. I don't understand it, man. I'm team Mason Phillips. But anyway, we have Ryan Staub that transferred from Colorado. Of course, G-Mac that everybody loves and everybody wants to, it seems, most of the Tennessee fan base wants him to be the starter. And then, of course, you got Faison Brandon coming in this year as a true freshman. But I can legitimately say that we legitimately have a quarterback competition. We're going to see what it looks like. I've seen people that stated, hey, the transfer portal, we're tired of getting quarterbacks out of the transfer portal. Let's go with what we recruited with. This is going to be what, the 5th year that we will have another starting quarterback. The only time that we had a returner, of course, I keep talking about it, Hendon Hooker. But after that, every year from that point moving forward, we're going to have 5 different starting quarterbacks. Now, in this day and age, yeah, you may hit some one-hit wonders, like Mendoza, he came to Indiana from California, won a national championship. You got Carson Beck, came from Georgia, went to Miami, almost won a national championship, competed for a national championship, So sometimes you'll have those. But then if you want true continuity and you want a quarterback that can, that knows the system and knows it very well and continues to have tremendous success with him being a starter for another year, that's what you want in the system. You want somebody that's going to know this system in and out, that is going to be successful when it comes down to it. We don't have to worry about, well, is this transfer going to get a hold of Hyper System? Because they always stated that, Hyper System is, in some ways very hard to figure out. You have to be able to see the whole field. And that's where Nico had an issue at. He only could see half of the field. He couldn't see the whole field. Joey Aguilar, somehow he came in, and it could be just because he was a veteran. He's able to, make changes and transition and know how to, because him coming in May, and learning that system as quick as he did and performed the way he performed. Yes, he had some interceptions here and there, but for him to come in to throw over 3,500 yards, 20 plus touchdowns, that's kudos. I give him kudos for that because he came in when Nico decided, he wanted to be bigger than the brand and wanted, and I ain't gonna say he wanted to go elsewhere, but we ushered him on out so he can go elsewhere. So, it is what it is. This guy. Hey man, I know you're happy. I know this is a holiday for you. I know this is a celebration. I know bottles are popping everywhere. Champagne is flowing all over your head. I know you're celebrating. Fireworks going off in the backyard, man. I know. But yeah, man. Yeah, I wasn't too impressed with Nico either, but we didn't know what it would look like in the second season either. Now, first season, yeah, I didn't expect much. I think it was one of those situations where we had a great defense. They told him, hey, this is what you need to do. Be a game manager. We'll take care of the rest. And that was it. So, it is what it is on that one. But yeah, man, it's just oh yeah, follow me on Twitter too. That's down there as well. Follow me on Twitter, of course, like, share, and subscribe. I ain't got to really say too much on that. Hey, you like, share, and subscribe. I look at it like this, man. Hey, I ain't gonna, I don't never really mention it as much. I don't talk about it as much. We all grown. Hey, if you like what I do, you'll share it and you'll subscribe to it. You know what I mean? If you don't, well, hey, I appreciate your support and thank you for viewing. But yeah, so everybody's talking about, well, Diego Pavia was able to get that injunction last year. He was. And what's so crazy is Joey Aguilar had home field advantage. The judge, Tennessee alumni, season ticket holder, goes to Tennessee games. Now, the lawyer for the NCAA, of course, alumni of Tennessee, season ticket holder, and actually sat in court, was like, hey, man, my kids love you. Oh, they love to watch you play, which is crazy. But now that you look at it, it would seem like when the judge said what he said and the lawyer for the NCAA made his statement, it seemed at that point it was a foregone conclusion. You wasn't getting another year. They were basically giving you your swan song. They was giving you your last, congratulations. Thank you for playing for the Power T. And that's what we got today. I wanted to jump on live earlier, but I was so busy with, with life itself. I was like, no, let me wait until later on. Because as I stated, I wanted to get on here live. I wanted to get everybody's reactions. I wanted to see how everybody felt about the situation. And here we are. There's a lot of people that are upset about it. They wish he had another year. But this is where we're at. Now, this is the biggest question because we know the NCAA is never consistent. What happens to the other 25 players that are still trying to get a judgment to play another year that also are under the Diego Pavia lawsuit? What do they do now? What precedent did this judge just make with this decision? I think that he has no choice but to deny those 25 players of eligibility, because if he doesn't and they're able to play another year, then what does that look like? But as I stated, the NCAA, they've never been consistent in anything that they do. Now, yeah, Faison a bad man. Faison a bad man. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see who's better and who isn't. It's a true quarterback competition now. Now you got a coach. Now you have to develop. There's no more grown men coming to play. There's no more 4th, 5th year, 6-year seniors coming into the fold now. They got to show up and show out. And they have a whole off season to do it. Now, GMAC has already taken the lead because he's already done the work as a leader, should. And what's that? Taking his wide receivers to Miami, throwing the pigskin around, getting acclimated with each other, getting that rapport with each other, showing that true leadership. Because I truly believe they love GMAC. I truly believe that. Now, if GMAC is the starter, I'm fine with that. I don't really care too much for Ryan Staub and let's be honest here, I would rather see, since Joey's not coming back, I would rather see either GMAC or Faison Brandon taking the snaps. Ryan Staub, he can be a great backup, a great veteran that can back these guys up, and if need to be, come in and produce, do what he needs to do, be a great game manager. But right now, it's time for the youngins to take this team to another level. I know it hurts for some people that Joey's not going to be there, but this is the life that we got to deal with as volunteer fans. It's time for the youngsters to take over. And who knows? I remember Dylan Gabriel at UCF, true freshman, lit it up in his first year in Josh Heupel's system. Who's to say that can't happen for GMAC? Who's to say that can't happen for Faison Brandon? Now, one thing we can't say about Josh Heupel, he is a true quarterback whisperer, but also his scheme is quarterback friendly. Any quarterback should be able to go in there and perform at a high level. Now, Nico, yes, he had his issues because, like I said, he couldn't see the whole field and he was scared to pull that trigger. And then when he did pull that trigger, he was very inaccurate. Now, there were some plays he made great throws, but there were more of those where he just couldn't make the throw, or he either went too deep or he went too short. Now, if you catch him on a slant, oh, he got you. Like that play he did with when he passed to Thornton against Oklahoma on the money. You know what I mean? And that was after that game, he just didn't have it anymore. So, it is what it is. But what's everybody's thoughts on that? How do y'all feel about Joey Aguilar besides Andre Sutton? Because I already know how he feels. Anybody else? I see 4 people in right now. Anybody else have any thoughts in regards to the Joey Aguilar decision? How do y'all feel about, what the future looks like for the University of Tennessee, offensively and defensively? I think that defense is going to be better than people are making it out to be because of the guys that they were able to bring over that have been in Jim Knowles' system prior to them coming playing for the University of Tennessee. I wonder how that kind from Colorado will be also. Who are you talking about, Charlie Bulldog? I wonder what shot Joey will get in the NFL. No shot. Because look at it. He's going to the combine, right? But understand, he just had surgery too. So I'm trying to figure out, is he even healthy enough to even go through the combine fully? Because, yeah, the combine, it's not just, going out there showing what you can do. You also got to interview. They're going to ask you questions that probably going to be disrespectful, because I've heard that that's what they do. They're going to go over certain concepts, certain schemes, what is this defense in? And if they're in this, what do you do offensively to combat what what the defense is set up to look like? All those things, play a factor. So, but I don't think he can do really anything physically unless he's healed, unless he's been able to, to recover from the surgery that he had. But if not, it ain't really too much he can do at this point. I think he really put all his chips in and was thinking that he was going to be eligible. And with that, then he could have came back and he would have had time to, recover, because they already stated that he wasn't even going to be ready for the spring. He wasn't even going to play in the spring game. So that tells me he's not even healthy enough. But, I mean, you can go. Rather you get a spot or not, I'm not sure. He may get a practice, he might get a practice squad spot. It's right now with the combine starting, I want to say next week, Monday on the 23rd. And I want to say it lasts for 2 weeks. The odds are against him in regards to making any roster on the NFL team. So, hey, man, boy, you wild for this. Hey, I don't even know. I haven't even watched it yet, man. I need to go ahead and I didn't even watch their live, man. I was I was out and about. I meant to watch it live. I think it's still on there. So I'm going to go and take a look at it and see, what their thoughts were on that as well. So I think even before I watch it, they're probably like, man, wish, Joey should have got, because they, they didn't agree with everything that was happening. But, of course, the judge, he was all in the bag, like, hey, what is this going to do for him? What compensation, is he going to get this? Is he going to get that? There was a lot of marketing, talk within that, within that courtroom. It just seemed like, the judge was playing the role of, okay, yeah, I'm a Tennessee fan, but I'm going to be fair about it, and I'm not going to show that I'm biased. And even though, yeah, he gave him an injunction earlier, it's kind of like, well, what if I do this? Then what does that look like for me as a judge? Because he probably looked at it for himself. He probably looked at it like, what if I pull this trigger? What are people going to think of me if I go ahead and let him play another season? What credibility would that look like for myself? You got to look at it from the judge's point as well. Now, you have people talking about, oh, who paid him off, who gave him money. Now, look, my man probably can't even show his face at the game. Him and the lawyer for the NCAA. Oh, my goodness. You might as well just go ahead and just cancel. Man, give me your season tickets. I'll take them. Give them to me. If you see this video, if you see this live, give me your season tickets. I'll take them off your hands. Say, whatever you pay, I'll pay half. But I'll take them off your hands. Hey, we can do Klarna. We can do Affirm. We can do all the Zip. We can do all the payment plans. Hey, whatever it takes for you not to show your face in Neyland Stadium. Because if you do, trust me, the faithful are going to be in your face and in your ear. He probably had to get snuck in by the police. Probably by that guy that's been with, when the coaches come out in the middle of the field, and the one dude that really looked like a trooper, like he looks like the actual state trooper. He has the face, the build, everything. You got to get that guy to sneak you in to the games. Get him. Trust me when I tell you. I wonder Joey will try to appeal this case because the NFL is going to screw him over. And I was referring to the third string quarterback Tennessee guy from the portal. Oh, Ryan Staub. Okay, man, Charlie Bulldog, I saw him play a couple of times. He did good. He was okay. But and that could just be a Colorado thing because those quarterbacks, besides, ever since, Shedeur left, that man trotted out, 3 quarterbacks, if I'm not mistaken, and none of them stuck. So who knows? Hey, Hendon Hooker wasn't doing that well at Virginia Tech at one point. Now, he ran the ball a lot, but he didn't have the offense. They first of all, they didn't treat Hendon Hooker well anyway. That's the reason why he came to Tennessee. The coaching staff was just disrespectful all the way. But then when he got here, man, he showed his true talent. But like I said, that offense, that scheme, it can allow you to be successful. Now, Joe Milton could have been successful. He just wasn't accurate whatsoever. It was just bad. Wasn't accurate, made bad plays, just wasn't it. And it's showing in the NFL. At first it was the big, oh my God, he got a great arm. And, yeah, that's cool. But once that wears off, then what? What does that look like now? And it's not looking too good for him. And I hate that for him, but that's just what it is. You are who you are. And if you don't try to get better, then, like Jerry Glanville used to say back in the day. Who remember Jerry Glanville? The NFL stands for not for long. That's what's going to happen. Unless you're a great locker room leader. There are plenty of quarterbacks that are still in this league right now that in your mind, you're like, why are you still here? Just shoot. They're a great locker room leader. Everybody loves them. That's just it. But I don't think they're going to appeal it. I don't. I think, I think Joey's the type of guy that say, hey, I fought the fight and I didn't win. So let me go ahead and go to the next level, see if I can make it there. If not, you always got the CFL. And of course, you got the Rock League or whatever that's called. I can't remember what that league is that goes on in the summertime or in the spring. So, or, he could be that fireman that he was going to be before he decided to go to Appalachian State. We'll just have to wait and see. But until then, it's a wrap. It's over. We appreciate you, Joey, for everything that you've done. Like I said, man, you came in on a short notice. Yeah, you was going everywhere. App State, UCLA, and then to Tennessee. So, man, you did a great job. You did enough. But I know who's not doing enough right now. And that's the Lady Vols basketball team. They're not doing enough. I can sit here and say, okay, Mia Paldo, she's been out. They have no guard play. When she was in, they at one point they won 7 games straight. They beat 2 top 25 teams. Yes, they did all those things. And then they had a great showing against Connecticut in the first half, tied the game 42-42. And then it was mollywop season after that. Next thing you know, they played at South Carolina. They get blasted. Coach comes up there. They quit. I got quitters on my team. And then they come out, play Missouri, blow them out by 45. But I stated, I said, look, the schedule's coming up. It's either going to make you or break you. And right now it's breaking them. Right now, I watched the Texas game, and they had a chance to win that game. They did. But there were 3 possessions at the end of the second quarter, third quarter, and the final quarter, the fourth quarter. And they turned the ball over each time in the final seconds. Yes, Talasha Cooper got off, but you turned the ball over 9 times. Kim Caldwell, you need to figure out your personnel. You need to play. How can I put it? Let me put it in this point. Bush Jones came out with that. Remember when Bush Jones was here? And I forgot the quarterback's name that he had when he first got here. And I always felt like that quarterback didn't fit that system. And then once he got Dobbs, it fit the system. You got to know your personnel. Kim Caldwell has to know her personnel. Yeah, you had a top 10, top 5 class, but you also got to know your personnel. Pressing all the time, that's not going to work. Subbing in and out all the time, that's not going to work. It's just not. You don't have no heavy hitters down low. They're soft. You don't really have any shooters. Talasha Cooper is probably your only shooter. I know Barker got off the other night with 29, but there's nobody else. There's nobody else. You have no defenders. You have no shooters. You have no guard play at all. Last year, you had shooters, you had defenders, and you had guard play. That's why they was able to get to the Sweet 16 and shock some people. Understand last year, y'all have to remember, against the top team, they only lost by like 2-3 points each time. They beat the defending national champions, Connecticut, last year in Tennessee. So it's not like it can't work. It's just that your personnel doesn't fit this. Now, they knew what the scheme was, but it doesn't fit. They can't defend. They don't know how to press. There's always somebody leaking out. You got to have your head on the swivel. That's the problem. Now, everybody's mad at Kim Caldwell. They figure, to answer your question, Charlie Bulldog, just her second year. But there's a lot of people that want her head and want her out of there right now. Not only because you called them out saying they're quitters, but they're not playing at a high level, and they're not playing well. And they feel like she might be in over her head. That's possible. Could be. But you got to look at it from her standpoint, too. She's been a winner wherever she's been. Division II, won a national championship with Granville State. Really don't know who they are, but she won. Then she coached at Marshall for 1 year, won the Sun Belt Conference, won Sun Belt Coach of the Year, took them to the NCAA tournament. So she's used to success. Then last year, her first year at Tennessee, she come in, already had a kid and everything, and they beat Connecticut. They should have beat they beat Connecticut, lost to South Carolina, by 1 or 2 points each game, played a lot of the top teams tough. Then they got into the tournament, won some games there, made it to the Sweet 16, kept it close with Texas, had a chance to make it to the Elite Eight. Okay, so then the second year comes. Now, it's the thing of, yes, your first year, every new coach first year, for some reason, is always the best year, even though those not your players. But I've always wanted to know, what do you look like when you got your own team out there? Are you really that good of a coach? We just got to find out and see. And right now, they're young. Now, there are seniors in this group, but there's a lot of freshmen. There's like 5 freshmen, I think 5 freshmen, 5 seniors. But those seniors they're not reliable. You know what I mean? Like, you can have seniors all you want, but if they're not reliable, then it doesn't mean anything. But they're young. They have to learn. I wouldn't cancel Kim Caldwell out right now. Not right now. But if next season you don't produce, but then we got to find out if any of these other players are going to stay. Transfer portal is high now. Transfer portal is the big thing now. They may leave. The Twins may leave. You know, Talasha Cooper may leave and go somewhere else for her final season. Who knows? Because she's just a junior. We just gonna have to find out and see. But I give Kim Caldwell one more year. One more year. Second year for these youngins to be in the system for another year. See what that looks like. If it doesn't look good, then yes, the hot seat is going to warm up and it's going to get real hot. And they're going to be calling for her to leave and bring somebody else in here. That's just what it is. But we'll see. But they are on the cusp of possibly not making the not national championship, the NCAA tournament right now. They still got tough games coming up. They could potentially lose all those games and not make the tournament. We haven't seen that. I haven't seen that in my lifetime. Oh, a Tennessee team not making the tournament whatsoever. This can be the first. There's always a first for everything. I just hate it's on our time. Let's move on from the tragedy that is Lady Vols basketball right now. And I hate to say that. Let's move on to the basketball team. They're playing well. They've won their last 7 out of 8 games. Of course, you know their last loss was to who? Yeah, the guys in the Bluegrass State. Nate Ament is a dog. He's averaging 24.3 points, right? 24.3 points per game right now in the last, 10 games, if I'm not mistaken. He scored 29 twice against Bama, and then the other night against Oklahoma. He's a bad man. And if he keeps playing to this level, he's a top 5 pick automatically. 6'10", 6'11", scoring like that, taking over games. He's going to the league. We're just going to have Nate Ament just for 1 year if he continues this run that he is on. Tennessee playing well. Jacoby Gillespie, he's playing well. You know, earlier I talked about Gillespie, and I felt like, he wasn't taking care of the ball a lot like he should as a point guard. But the last couple of games, he's been doing that. He's been playing well. He's been scoring just as much as Nate Ament has been scoring. But his issue is he takes these weird shots, these "what are you doing" shots. He has to cut that down. He truly does. He needs to cut that down and cut that down in a hurry, because those shots that Gillespie takes, they're unwarranted. You don't need to do that. You don't need to force it. Get it to the right person. If you don't see the shot, try to get it to a person that you feel like is going to take the shot and is going to make it. But be smart about about playing that, about your guard play. Be smart with the ball. But they're playing well. SEC tournaments coming up. Hopefully, they continue to win these next couple of games. I know they have a couple of games against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt has been playing well a little bit. I forgot who else they got to play. But they have a couple games that they need to go ahead and take care of business. They have Alabama. Alabama's coming to Knoxville, so they have Bama again. So if they can get 3 of those last 5 games, hopefully they can get all of them. Then they'll get a great seating in the SEC tournament. And then on top of that, take care of business in the SEC tournament. Hopefully win the SEC tournament. I know you're going to have to see Florida. You might have to see Kentucky again. But you know what we do when we see Kentucky in the tournament? We take care of business, whether it's the SEC tournament or the NCAA tournament. I told a guy that said something on one of my videos. He's a Kentucky fan, talking about, y'all always talk about y'all good and y'all this, that, and the third, and y'all still suck. I said, that's fine. I said, we'll beat you in the SEC tournament and the NCAA tournament like we normally do. You'll be just fine. You'll be okay. So hopefully they can take care of business. Lady softball team, congrats to them. I'm trying to cover everybody, all Tennessee right now tonight. Congrats to the Lady Volunteers softball team. Man, they're playing at a high level. I think right now, if I'm not mistaken, let me take a look and see, because I was watching their score just now. They was in another one of these other classics again. Let's see, what was their score tonight? Oh, shoot, they playing UAB right now? Shoot, I know they just played somebody. Hold up. Oh, so they're not going to show that. It must be down here. Let's see, they beat... Yeah, it must be way down here then. Take a look and see. All right, they won 5-0 against Missouri State in the Green and Gold Classic. They're down there in Birmingham, Alabama. So they've been on a tear. They beat what 6 top 25 teams so far. They defeated out of those 6, 3 of them were in the top 10. They're 11-0 after their first win earlier in the day. They're playing UAB now, so they won that game 5-0. So in those 11 games, they have outscored their opponents 81-4, which is ridiculous. 81 runs, and they haven't played no slouches either. 81-4. That's what they're doing to their opponents. They're literally averaging almost 8 runs a game. If there's any year that I believe the Lady Vols softball team can win a national championship with the pitching, the 3 pitchers that they have, with the pitching that they have, and the hitting that they have, and the defense that they play, they should win a national championship this year. They're first in program history, if I'm not mistaken. Also, Karen Weekly. I remember Karen Weekly and Ralph Weekly. I remember when they coached at UTC. And this was back when I was, golly, I think I was in high school somewhere, I don't know. And UTC was a powerhouse in Chattanooga. And then after that, they went to Tennessee, winning SEC tournaments, making it to the College World Series, but just couldn't close the deal. Their best chance of closing the deal was against that Oklahoma team one year. They had it in the bag, and they couldn't finish the job. Could this be Karen Weekly's year? We just gonna have to wait and see. We just gonna have to wait and see. What's going on, Cajun Ball? I am more than fine with GMAC. They should have played him more last year. I think towards the end, he should have gotten some burn. Because at that point, I don't think Joey wasn't playing well. Tennessee as a whole wasn't playing well. But there were times where I felt like, GMAC should have got in, should have got some burn, just to see, give him a shot here and there. But, Josh Heupel's going to stick with what he's going to stick with. We know that, unless there's a blowout. And I ain't even thinking some blowouts. If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think GMAC got in the game. No, because Jake Merklinger was there. That's why he couldn't get in the game. Jake got in the game. So, of course, that stopped him from, getting out there on the field. But there's no Jake. There's GMAC, there's Faison, there's Ryan Staub. And Mr. No Respect, Mr. No Respect, or disrespect, whatever you want to call it, Mason Phillips. But yeah, I can't wait for the season to start. I really can't. I can't wait till they start practice. I want to see what they're going to look like now with the new strength and conditioning coach. He's having them boys in there every single day. I know Michael Hunter Jr., he was there for only 2 months, took the job in the NFL with the Los Angeles Rams. I don't blame him at all. They get you closer to where you want to be in life. Everybody has a career advancement mindset. And to be able to go from college to the NFL and especially go to the Rams and be their defensive coordinator, not defensive coordinator, their quarterbacks coach, I'm not mad at him for doing it. I know he has potential, and I know he was a player's coach. A lot of the former players that he coached, they had nothing but great things to say about Michael Hunter Jr., but it is what it is. He left, went to Los Angeles, and then comes in Derek Jones. And the thing about Derek Jones is the one thing I like, there's a couple things I like about Derek Jones. One, seasoned veteran coaching. He's been coaching for 20 plus years. He also coached under David Cutcliffe at Ole Miss from 2010 to 2017, Ole Miss and Duke, by the way. He also was with Jim Knowles during that time as well. So you had that familiarity or whatnot with the defensive coordinator. Y'all been in it. Y'all know each other. Also, what I like, he's on social media every single day talking about Tennessee Vols football every single day. And these days and times, these young guys out here, they're on social media every single day. And Derek Jones, that's what he's doing. He's selling himself and also selling the brand of Tennessee to these young guys, continuing to stay on social media because he posts social media every single day on X, every single day. So, yeah, man, it's I love it. I love it. I love what he does, man. I really do. I love everything that he's doing. I think he's going to do a great job. He was at Virginia Tech for 4 years until James Franklin came in. Of course, James Franklin didn't have no need for him. and the door opened. Now I know he made some statements about, you know, his daughters. Like he has one daughter that, you know, is like his manager and says, "Hey, I think you should go here," or "I don't think you should go here." But she enjoys the fact that he's in Knoxville right now. He has another daughter that, you know, was bummed out about not getting into a school, but now he's in Knoxville. I think he said she started looking up, you know, nursing classes in Knoxville at UT. So, you know, it's just a great thing around for Derrick Jones. I didn't get to watch none of their press conferences this past week. Try to see what everybody had to say. I think I saw enough from, you know, the interviews that they had on the Mike Keith show. I don't know what else they could have said that, you know, could have got my attention, but I think on those interviews they said enough. I'm all in regards to the defensive side of the ball. I'm all in. I'm just all in with Tennessee, period. But, you know, we hope that this season, I know everybody is like, I've seen people say, "Oh hell, Joey didn't get his eligibility." Well, I guess that's just where it goes. I guess we want to go, you know, 5-7 or 5-8 or 6-6 or 6-7. You know, it's just, we don't know what's going to happen. You want GMAC? We got GMAC. You believe in GMAC? We believe in GMAC and believe in the University of Tennessee. He's set up for success. You got the offensive line coming back. You got Mike Matthews coming back. You got Braylon Staley coming back. You have Deshaun Bishop coming back. You got Tristan Keys showing up. You got Tariq King showing up. You got my man, what's my man name? Oh my goodness. The other wide receivers. I can't never really think right now. Hold on, let me pull up Tennessee roster. Or Darius Jackson. You got him coming back. You know, you got Smith Jr. coming back. He's set up for success. He just needs to execute. That's it. That's it. Just need to execute. That is it. Nothing else. So, yeah, man. So, yeah, I just wanted to come on here and, you know, talk about the Joey Aguilar decision. You know, some people look at it as a big blow. Some people look at it as a gift from above because, you know, they feel like that these young guys need to have their chance. Let's say if Joey came back, what does that look like for the quarterback room? Does GMAC stay for the next year? Does he decide to go in the transfer portal? There's a lot of factors that could have went into that if he would have got his extra year. We could have lost a GMAC. We could have lost a Faison Brandon. Ryan Staub is going to stay. He ain't going nowhere else. I don't know if anybody else will want him. But that could have cost the way college is set up now. Anybody can hit the portal at any given day. Shoot. It happens. This is where we're at, unfortunately. And the NCAA, with all their holier than thou attitude, they still don't get the job done. They still haven't figured out and solved this NIL transfer portal issue. But, you know, they want to sometimes, you know, try to put their foot down on whatever they want to put their foot down on when they decide to put their foot down. Because some things they don't put their foot down on, they just let it slide. And some things they just want to decide, you know what, we're just not going to let it happen. It's a complete mess. They will always be a complete mess. There will be nothing will change, nothing will come out of it whatsoever. They just have this mentality of, I don't know, it's just NCAA BS. It's always going to be that way. Nothing will ever get solved. Watch come next year, they'll decide on something else, and you'll be like, well, damn, you just last year you just said no to this guy. Now you're saying yes to this guy. Chambliss. The reason why I worked in his favor because the judge out here crying about slobbing all over himself, man. Oh my God, you should have seen it. Golly, he loves the man. He loves Ole Miss. Have seen Danny arguing on Twitter with the head of NCAA. No, I have not seen that. One thing about Danny White, man, this is the same guy that said UCF was national champions, and he stood on business about that. Had a whole parade and everything. Mickey Mouse showed up, Donald Duck, man, the whole Disney clan showed up, I think, if I wasn't mistaken. So, you know, he's going to fight for his, as much as people give Danny White shit, he will fight for his school. He will fight for their brand. He will fight. I give him that. You know, there's some things. It was over collect bargain. Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Okay, I remember that. I do remember that. I did a video on that actually. I thought you were talking about right now as we speak. Yeah, I saw that. But you know, and that's weird too because everybody, and I thought it was just the SEC, but everybody has this, you know, cap space. You know, it was at 20.5 million. They changed it recently to I think 21.3 million. But you got Texas Tech and them boys down there spending 40 million. Ohio State 28 million. I'm trying to figure out. I need to get a better understanding of how is that working? You know, where is that coming from? Because I thought everybody had a ceiling, but it seems like not everybody has a ceiling. Texas spending money too cheap. Texas give you a Lambo. They give you a Lambo. They give you everything. Miami shoot. They'll give you 10 years. They'll give you 10 million. They'll take. They'll. Hey, you got a sister? She need to go to school. She want to transfer. Man, we got her too. Man, we probably give you a car. We give you whatever you want. Just leave Duke and come to Miami. We give you everything. We'll break the bank. That's where we at now. You got to pay if you want to play. If you want to be successful. Speaking of success, it looks like Darrell Sims is going to stay at the University of Tennessee as the running backs coach. I think that's good news. Why? Is because DGG, it has to be number one priority. Plain and simple. He needs to be number one priority. Nobody else. DGG needs to be the number one priority for the 2027 class for the University of Tennessee. Plain and simple. We ain't got time to be playing. We don't have time to, let's look at this and let's look at that. No. Go ahead and open up the bank. Whatever you got to do to get that grown man on that field in Neyland. We swung and missed on Savion Hyder last year. We're not going to swing and miss on this one. If you swing and miss on this, now I got to look at you sideways. I got to look at the coaching staff sideways. I got to look at my running backs coach sideways. I got to look at Danny White sideways. I got to look at the collective sideways. I got to look at everybody that's affiliated in getting this man in the fold. I got to look at you sideways. Because there's no way you're going to let this man that plays in Chattanooga, Tennessee, that plays for the Baylor School, where Peyton Manning's son plays at, by the way. There's no way you let that go to Ohio State, because whatever anybody want to think, it's between Tennessee and Ohio State. Now, one thing we know for sure about Ohio State, they're going to drop the bag. We got to just match their energy and more. But DGG, and if anybody's never seen DGG play, pull up the highlights. Just look them up. Just look them up. He is a man amongst boys. A man amongst boys. I'm telling you, that man is a beast. Look him up. David Gabriel Georges. Look him up. He's a man amongst boys down there. And he got one more year. Jesus. You thought last year was something. Wait till this year. Off-season workouts. Bigger, hungrier, wants it. He is the number one running back in the country. He is the number one player in the country. He's the number one player in the state of Tennessee. No question. You drop the bag on DGG. Let's not play around with six figures. We need seven. We need seven figures for DGG, because if we don't pay seven figures, I know somebody that will, and they're in Columbus, and they play in the Big Ten, and they get on my nerves, and they're annoying as hell. They make me sick. Yes, he's going to be insane. Man, hold on. Let me put this up there. Yes, he's going to be insane with the strength coach. You think he's swollen. You think he's big. You think he's fast. Now, wait till the strength coach gets a hold of him. It's going to be ridiculous. And that scheme, the way they spread the defense out, They may get, look, we may start getting halfback sweeps with DGG. They may start going to halfback sweeps if they get DGG to the University of Tennessee. For real. He is phenomenal. If y'all have not seen DGG, David Gabriel Georges, please go on YouTube and watch this man play. Please watch him. Unhuman, speed. You're not telling one lie. You're not telling one lie, Charlie. Not one. That man is everything you want in a player, everything you want in a running back. You get him, either G-Mac back there, Faison back there, and you already got the wideouts in the offensive line, and we're trying to get more offensive linemen. We're trying to go for 5 stars, 4 and 5 stars. Cast that net, please. Cast that net. But DGG, you gotta spend 7. We need that. And I know y'all agree. We need a running back. Because let's be honest here. We truly haven't had, no disrespect to Deshaun Bishop, no disrespect to D-Samp, no disrespect to Jalen Wright, no disrespect to Jabari Greer, no disrespect to none of those guys. None whatsoever. No disrespect. But we haven't had a running back of that caliber in a long time in that backfield. We have not. And no disrespect to Alvin Kamara. DGG is on a different level. Alvin's good. Alvin was great. Alvin had the speed. He had the moves. He was fantastic. He was phenomenal. I'm not going to not deny that. But DGG, bigger, stronger. He's going to get faster because he can outrun you. He's going to be a bad man. Josh Heupel. I'll say this about Josh Heupel. When he wants his man, he gets his man. I will say that about him. When Josh Heupel himself alone comes and hollers at you and talks to you, yeah, it's for real. And he's going to do whatever it takes. But they have no choice. You have no choice now. You have no choice. You have to do whatever it takes now. If you want to win a national championship, if you don't want to be on the hot seat come next year and have the fan base hopefully not turn on you, but if they do, you got to make your mark with this 2027 recruiting class. Now, you did very well in the 2026 recruiting class. Top 10. Did well. We got to see what it looks like. Joey's not coming back. He's not hitting that give my all to Tennessee anymore. He's not doing that. He's not doing that. I get it. There's people that are upset. There are fans that are upset, but we have to move on to the next play. Like they tell our quarterbacks, like they tell our offense, our defensive players. You got to put that one play behind you. We got to put this decision behind us as a fan base. And we got to be ready and now support GMAC, support Faison Brandon, support Ryan Staub, support Mason Phillips. I know y'all probably don't know who Mason Phillips is, but I saw him on the depth chart one day, and I was like, why they ain't talking about dude? I'm his fan. I really am. I'm his fan, man. I don't even know dude. He don't even get no burn. But, he's on the chart, man. Give him a little talk. Talk about him a little bit. I don't even know what he does, to be honest. But he's been there. But evidently, he's not that guy. He's support. He's a support guy. That's what he is. He supports you. You did good, G-Mac. You did great, Faison. You did great, Ryan. That's what he's there for. But we got to have DGG. That's it. That is it. That's all I want for Christmas. DGG. Why I say Christmas? Because you know when early signing period is. It's before Christmas. That's all I want for Christmas. I know that's what y'all want for Christmas, besides other things. But that's what I want. especially with the strength coach. I don't think anyone will be able to touch or catch it. Nah, they won't. They won't. They won't be able to catch DG. No, ain't no way. Ain't no way. We got to get him. We got to get him. We got to get him. No question. I can't wait. Boy, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the defense looks like. Can't see what GMAC, Faison, either or, it don't matter. Can't wait to see what that looks like. I think they're going to make it simple for him at first, and then they're going to open it up. He's going to play Furman. He's going to throw for 300 yards against Furman. GMAC is. He's throwing for 300 easy. And then we play Georgia Tech. We're going to go down to Bobby Dodd Stadium, and we're going to whoop out on whoever their quarterback is. Doesn't matter. Oh, I forgot. I know who their quarterback is. It's Mendoza's brother. I think he's going to be their starter because their actual starter, the backup to Haynes King, he went to Florida. Yeah, we're going to go down to Bobby Dodd Stadium. I'm going to be there to witness it. And I'm going to get my lick back from my cousin that used to work at Georgia Tech. Yeah, did him dirty. Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait to show up and talk. The only way I know how to those yellow jackets. Rambling wreck. Yeah, well, they can ramble in and wreck that wagon right out that field. Yeah, that's how I feel right now. But yeah, I got beside myself right now thinking about Georgia Tech. Yeah, can't wait. They should have had it at in the dome again. It's gonna be hot as hell out there. Jesus. I remember I went to what game was that? Nico. First game we played against UTC. Man, it was so hot out there, man. I'm glad that we blew them out. It was time to go. The Bowling Green game with Josh Dobbs and them in Nashville. That was hot. Golly. The game against Virginia in Nashville. Hot as heck. Dude. That's why when I went to the Syracuse game last year, it was just comfortable. Just watching Tennessee just go up and down the field against those Orange. But it was comfortable. It was comfortable. I loved it. But that's what being a football fan is, man. Take the hot with the cold. Rain, snow, don't matter. We're there to support. We're there to cheer. We're there to have a good time. And talk a little shit every now and then to the fan base, to the opposing fans. Yeah. Hope UT keeps playing Georgia Tech after the next couple of seasons. Yeah, they play them again. They play them that the next year after that. It's a home and home series. So they'll play them in Knoxville the next year. Yep. How do y'all feel about this 9-game schedule? It's a gauntlet for everybody, damn near. It is. This 9-game schedule is going to be brutal. It ain't like Big 12 9-game. Nah, this is going to be brutal because it seems like everybody in the SEC is starting to make their way. They, especially Kentucky. Even though we're Kentucky's daddy, but they made some moves now. And it's funny. You think I feel like it's going to break the SEC. It might. It just might break the SEC, just from a physical standpoint, really, because every game is physical. I remember I got a guy that kind of have inside news on Kentucky, and we were talking about Mark Stoops, and we were talking about the moves that they were making, since Mark Stoops had left, and he was like, yeah, he said the boosters, he said they didn't like Mark Stoops. That's why they wouldn't spend no money, because as soon as Mark Stoops left and they brought in a new coach, money was just being spent everywhere. And I was like, damn. I said, they didn't even care for dude. So, they got him out of there. But now, they got money everywhere now. They getting all the, transfer portal guys and, some good players too. But I think they're going to come up a little bit. We don't know what Vandy's going to look like. Yeah, even though, you got the number one quarterback. Okay. What does that mean? You lost a lot of players last year. I don't think Vandy's going to be Vandy without Diego Pavia. Diego Pavia, even though I don't care for Diego Pavia too much or at all, he did put him on his back, and he took them to places they haven't been since probably the James Franklin era or even better. How much is Kentucky is spending on football? a lot. I don't know the numbers, but they've been spending. They've been spending more money than they've ever spent in that I've ever known for Kentucky to spend ever. They're spending a lot of money at Kentucky, more than they've ever done in the Mark Stoops era or anybody else's era of in that sense. But definitely in Mark Stoops since the NIL began, man, they ain't spent a dime with that guy. You call him Diego Belt. Yeah, man, Diego probably, man, he terrible, man. Yeah, yeah, they are, but now I think they want Kentucky to. They see the writing on the wall. They see the 9-game schedule. They see that it's going to get even harder than what it was for them as a program. Yeah, it's time to pony up. If you want to if you want to get into the middle of the pack, at least be in the middle of the pack. I'm not necessarily saying they're going to be the top echelon program in the SEC, but if you want to at least get to the middle of the pack and at least compete, yeah, you got to spin now. And now they have a coach that they like, so they're going to spin. They no longer want to be the butt of a bad joke. Exactly. Because they've been there for years. Yeah, Mark Stoops had his 1 or 2 10-win seasons, but he's been mediocre at best. And even in our worst day, Kentucky still couldn't beat us. Even on our worst days, even if with our worst teams that weren't that good, we still found a way to beat Kentucky. But that's how it is with us in Florida. Even on our best days, for some reason, we just couldn't beat Florida's worst days. But then when you look at it, hell, Florida couldn't beat Kentucky, which was crazy. We beat Kentucky, Kentucky beat Florida, but we can't beat Florida. Crazy as hell. Bush Jones and Pruitt. Yeah. Yeah. Well, there was a lot of other coaches, especially that guy, Mr. Orange Pants himself, Derek Dooley. Jesus. Yeah. That guy. Mike Hamilton, you should never get a job ever again in life. That was probably one of the worst coaching hires known to man. Derek Dooley? Jesus. Hell, he was 5-7. I think at Louisiana Tech before we hired him. When he was 75, he was trash. And you hired him. Damn. Yeah, and then Bush Jones came in and, brick by brick, street by street. I don't know, man. Building by building, whatever his slogans were, brick by brick. He come in with Team 148, Team 185, Team 2000. His problem was it wasn't his coaching. You just had players that was just willing to win. His coaching was atrocious. He was just bad. Pruitt, shit. You would think he came from Alabama to Tennessee just to sabotage Tennessee. It was like the big payback from Philip Fulmer, the Philip Fulmer situation. Golly, he looked like a clown out there. It's like, what is this? What's happening? That was bad. God, that's what we were just at. Look, the end of the Bush Jones, 2017, the end of his coaching career at Tennessee, when I don't think we won a game in the SEC, and it got to the point we fired him. We had Brady Hoke out there coaching us. Oh. Then Pruitt came back, and that Brady Hoke, remember, he suspended Jeremy Banks, and then Pruitt gave Jeremy Banks, a second chance, and Jeremy Banks, he played pretty good at linebacker. He played solid. He played solid. Being a natural running back to move to another position, he played solid. But man, golly, you said you remember some thought, but some. So I remember some threw Butch Jones' name out there for Michigan. Shit. Yeah, okay. Michigan if you want to. Yeah, Michigan know better. Yeah, but Butch Jones, man, remember, Butch Jones coached Cincinnati at one point. And what happened to him when he came to Knoxville and played Tennessee? Got blown out. So he no good. I think just the total disrespect was when he went to Alabama and they beat us, and he had the nerve to smoke a cigar. Yeah. That guy smoked a cigar, but yeah, now look at him. But anyway, yeah, it was the end of his tenure. And then the Pruitt tenure. I mean, Pruitt's first season, yes, we went on the run. Yes, we beat Indiana in the bowl game. That's cool. But in the beginning of that season, my defense, nobody knew what the hell they were doing. It was like we were a high school team, if that. Second season come around, COVID hit. Oh, it was just, it was bad. It was awful, man. My goodness. I think for him, for me, it was the Auburn game for me, for Pruitt. The Auburn game. We were doing just fine running the ball. Auburn couldn't stop a nosebleed. And what did you do? You went against your offensive coordinator and you wanted him, Garantano, to throw a pass. And what does he do? Throws a pick six. That's when I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's over. It's just a matter of, are they going to pull the trigger or not? And yeah, after that Texas A&M game, somebody said, you know what? Yeah, we need to go ahead and pull this trigger. I don't know how, but I've been hearing some things. Yeah, I think we can use that for cause and not pay you anything. Now he's back. He's able to coach again, but we're still paying for his mistakes. Crazy. That's the NCAA for you. Talked about him just a while ago. That's what they do. His punishment, our punishment as a brand, as a team, is more than the actual guy that did it. How does that make sense? Make it make sense. His punishment is less than our punishment. We're still paying for that. Doesn't make any sense at all, but it's the NCAA. It is what it is. And Lane Kiffin put UTK in that situation with Dooley and Butch and Pruitt. He did. He did. I don't even want to mention them, but you mentioned them. You mentioned them. He did. He just decided one night, woke up from his sleep. You know what? I'm going to hold a press conference in the middle of the night. Yeah, I'm not ever coming back. I'm going to USC. He went there and that didn't work out for him. That's why we don't really care for dude. Well, my man saying, Joey Pinion, what's going on, buddy? We get punished for everything while Michigan just gets off. Yeah. The world of Tennessee. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what Tennessee did. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah. And then they try to double back and get us for Nico when they couldn't get him the first time. Oh no. When they got us the first time for the Pruitt situation, they tried to double back and try to get Nico. Luckily, we fought that. But they was trying to put us, they were literally trying to get us the death penalty. That's what they were wanting to do. Because you do it, no, I think it's if you do it a second time and get caught up, I think they give you the death penalty. They were trying to SMU us, Pony Express us. That's what they were trying to do. I told you they have their picks. Because if you're not like, see, even though Tennessee has been successful for a lot of years and we've won championships and we've been the brand, I still think we're not considered a blue blood. See, the blue bloods get away with murder. Any blue blood, whether it's basketball, whether it's football, if you are from a certain pedigree, a certain elk, you don't get caught up. And even though we've been successful, we're really not considered a blue blood. Only the blue bloods. They consider the Michigans blue bloods, the Ohio State blue bloods, the Alabamas of the world, especially that team in South Bend. Oh, they just wipe their butts with them. They just love old Notre Dame. And Rudy ain't even a true story, but it's whatever. They love the Notre Dames of the world. Yeah. If USC can get their head out their butt, that'll be another one. They just can't. But they love that. That's what they love. Someone up high didn't get accepted into Tennessee. Shit. Hey, look. Revenge is a dish best served cold. It's possible, Joey. It's possible. It's possible. It is possible. I would not put it past anybody like that. Something happened somewhere at the University of Tennessee. Hey, just ask Steve Spurrier. Just ask him. He knows. He knows. Steve Spurrier knows. Tennessee boy. Yeah, Tennessee boy. Tennessee didn't get him. Didn't recruit him. And since then, it's been hell. When he was at Duke, he beat us. Florida, he beat us. Yeah. You can't spell UT. Can't spell citrus without UT. Oh my God, it burned his ass. It burned him. Oh, it burned him. Still burns him to this day. He don't say it as much because he don't be around as much. But oh my goodness. He's a pure example of that. He's a pure example of that. The NCAA after the Michigan Wolverine crap and cheating scandal is literally the toothless Yeti from Rudolph. Tennessee needs oil bearing like Texas. Yeah. Well, hate to put it to you, you ain't gonna never get that. I know what you mean. But yeah, Michigan, yeah, they didn't get punished enough. You know, you got a coach out there, you know, he got suspended, 2-3 times during his tenure, Jim Harbaugh. And then, of course, can't keep his stuff, Sharon Moore. Yeah. He was the end of that era. He went out the way he went out. That was the end of all that was happening at the University of Michigan. They had to clean that up. They had to get that out of it. I'm surprised the AD is still there right now. What's his name? Manuel. I'm surprised he's still there. I thought he was going to be on his way out, but haven't heard anything. So he must have buttered up somebody. Must have buttered somebody bread up. Because he should have been gone. Look at the NCAA did Ohio State back in the day. Are you talking about they did do something to him? Was talking about when Terrell Pryor and them, Jim Tressel's crew, when they were selling their memorabilia and stuff like that? I didn't understand that. It's like, it's mine. It's mine. If I want to sell it, I should be able to sell it. If this is my ring, which I thought it was dumb, but you selling your dang Big Ten rings and your Big Ten championship rings, I'm like, why are you doing that? But it's their stuff. If I want to sell it, I should be able to sell it. But they were like, no, that's against the rules. Look, let me tell you something. My cousin, he works, he's worked, he's done an intern at, I've talked about it before. He was an intern at the NCAAs in Overland Park, Kansas. And, he's worked for multiple, colleges and universities and, of course, conferences and things of that nature. I remember one day we were sitting on our grandmother's porch, man, and he had this book, and it was a rule book because he was like over compliance and stuff like that. And he opened it up and he showed me everything that a student athlete could not do or they would get penalized. And I mean, that joke was like this thick. Like they couldn't do anything. They were handcuffed, handicapped. If you just blew a dollar bill out your mouth, y'all, they gonna get you. They gonna get you. We don't care if it's yours. You got it from somewhere. They're gonna get you. It was bad. Like I saw the rules and yeah, players couldn't do anything back in the day whatsoever. Like they had them literally, you were just a student athlete. That's it. While everybody else gets paid, while everybody else gets money, while everybody else gets paid off your sweat, blood, and tears. Yeah, you couldn't do anything. I want to say they got a per diem, if I'm not mistaken. I think they got that. Of course, room and board, scholarship. Everybody was like, well, they got scholarship and that. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's why I was always respected Willis McGahee from Miami. Remember, he took out that $2 million insurance policy on himself. And that hit he took, and that was that national championship game, it could have ended his career. But he had that $2 million. He was smart for that. And he didn't play in the NFL for what? I don't think he started playing after 3 years, something like that. So just think if he didn't take that out. When I look at Gilmore, I want to say his name was Gilmore, South Carolina running back. When Tennessee played them and he got his leg tore up, messed up, that ended him. It ended him, man. So, it's important for these players to get paid. I feel like they always should have gotten paid, especially in football, because you never know when your career will be over with. You just don't know, but you want to have something to fall back on. But yeah, man, yeah, that's crazy. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. Yeah, Ohio State, yeah, they did them dirt. I think they took all their wins away, if I'm not mistaken, from that team. But this is what it is. College football. Ohio one was, if I remember, they were trading game used stuff. Remember? Yeah. Yep. That was it. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was it. Yep. Sure did. And that was their stuff. But NCAA night long. No, you can't do that. Nope. Michigan helped South Carolina cheat and beat Tennessee also. Yeah. Yeah. They talked about that. Yeah, it didn't help. Hendon got hurt. I didn't even know he was playing. I know y'all heard about him saying he already had a torn meniscus in that game. I said, well, dang. Had a torn meniscus playing in the South Carolina game. And then tore his ACL. Shit. Bad way to go. And he ain't been and pure example. Luckily, he was able to get drafted. He's played a couple times in the preseason, but he hasn't got any burn in the regular season. Then now he's in Detroit. I think he went to Carolina. I don't even know if he's still in Carolina or not. I don't know what he has going on, but it's all what that did for him. Just think, he didn't get hurt. We probably could have won that game regardless of what Michigan was doing. But even without the background noise in regards to fighting and who finding out who got paid more and this, that, and the third. And allegedly Jeremy Banks and Hendon Hooker got into it, and allegedly the defense was like, man, screw y'all, whatever the case may be. I mean, it did look like the defense was like playing like, yeah, whatever that night too. Just imagine what would it have been. He'd have been a Heisman Trophy winner. Caleb Williams wouldn't have won the Heisman. Caleb Williams only won that Heisman because it was by default. He wasn't playing well that year. I don't care what anybody say. He was all right, but he wasn't Hendon Hooker good. But Hendon Hooker should have been in New York anyway, regardless if he was going to win or not. You had Stetson Bennett go there. Man, Stetson Bennett wasn't good as Hendon Hooker. You crazy. But Hendon should have been there. But I still believe we didn't lose that game against South Carolina. We would have made it to the college football playoff because TCU took that loss against Kansas State. I truly believe we had a better resume. We had better wins against better teams, top teams. So, yeah, we played close. I don't care what anybody say. Yeah, it didn't look close, but against Georgia, but hey, that's Georgia. At that time, that type of Georgia team, we just couldn't make adjustments, because one thing about Kirby Smart, he's gonna figure you out, and he figured out how to play that type of offense. And Josh Heupel couldn't make the adjustments. But dude from Michigan, oh man, he was going everywhere. Dude was dressing up, man. He was like Tom Cruise, man, Mission Impossible. He was just all everywhere. I'm talking about I think he was on the field at one point. I'm like, how? Crazy. Like, you really went that far. And Jim Harbaugh, you can't sit there and say you didn't know that this man was doing that. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't, but I'm sorry. That's on you. That's on you. But yeah, they should have, that national championship game or the national title that they won, yeah, that was bogus. What was really bogus was the fact that they was wearing t-shirts talking about free Harbaugh. Yeah, like he doing a bid or something. Like, bro, what? Y'all really out there? I'm telling with some of my Michigan friends, I say, hey man, y'all clown activity right now. That's clown activity. Y'all literally got t-shirts with this man's face on it talking about free Harbaugh. I was like, Jesus. That was the most clownish thing I've ever seen in a long time. Like, dude, he did what he did. He got suspended. Okay. It is what it is. Now Kyle Whittingham there. I don't know. Kyle Whittingham is a great coach. And he was a great coach at Utah. Just imagine University of Michigan with that money, those facilities. Yeah, Michigan is going to be something to deal with. But we're going to be something to deal with too. We made the moves that need to be made. We got rid of the people we needed to get rid of. Now it's time to go out there and play ball. That's it. Nothing else. There's no more excuses now. This will be your sixth, excuse me. Yeah, this will be Josh Heupel's sixth season coming up. And he's done well. Last year, hey, we fell flat. Defense fell flat. I think coaching overall was just flat. Yes, the offense peaked once again, but there were a couple of games we just weren't consistent with our quarterback play. But yeah, this is your sixth season coming up, Josh. You got to make it happen. You got to do something because the hot seat will be knocking on your door if you don't make it happen. We do live in that world. Like we live in a world now that we want it now. We want to see success now. We want to see what that look like. We had a taste of it in 2022. And I think that's why, a lot of us are frustrated at times because like, man, we tasted it. And then of course, college football playoff, we got into the playoffs. And then we got beat bad in Columbus. But our fans showed up and showed out. Now we're going to do that. But we tasted the playoffs and we want to taste it again. But this time, and I'm gonna go back to this before I end this live. I'm gonna go back to this. And I'm gonna reiterate this, and I'm gonna continue to do this. We haven't won a national championship since '98. We haven't been to an SEC championship since 2007. We ain't even sniffed it. It's our time. It's time to just not be a competitor, just not to go out there and compete. Anybody can go out there and compete. That's fine. But to compete for championships, to be in the race, to make it back into the college football playoff, to compete for a national championship, to play for an SEC championship, to play for a national championship. That's what we're all yearning for as Tennessee fans. That's what we want. That's what we need. Our last national champion was the baseball team, and that coach is no longer here. Lady Vols, their last national championship, 2008, almost 20 years now. Now they won an SEC championship. I want to say after that, I think with Holly Warwick, if I'm not mistaken. I think we won the SEC title, but we haven't won a national championship since. Basketball, hell, we ain't won a championship yet. We won a couple of SEC titles. Well, we won an SEC championship, but we haven't won a national title. We sniffed it, Elite Eight, but we didn't make it to the 4. Softball team, we sniffed it, but we just couldn't close the deal. We just couldn't close the deal. This shit got to stop. We got to start competing. We got to start winning. This what we call it? Battle ball syndrome, man. Look, we got to stop this. I get it. I remember the first time I heard of BBS, I was like, "What's that?" Battle ball syndrome. I said, "Shit." I said, "Damn, it's gotten that bad." Boy, this year is a rebuilding year. I hope not. I hope not. I hope it isn't. I hope we do better. I hope we do a lot better than what we. I don't know, man. G-Mac has been in the system. He just hasn't got in the game. I hope it gets better for us, though. I really do. I really do. I think we got to the playoffs too early with Heupel. I don't know. I can't say that because there have been other coaches that have been able to take teams like a Signetti from Indiana and not only do it in his first year, but he did it in his second year and won a national title. So it's never too early. Never too early. Never too early. Mm-mm. But now I think it's time that, hey, it's time to make some noise. You have what you have. You have your defensive coordinator. You have a totally different defensive coaching staff, except for Rodney Garner and William Inge. Yeah, you did well in the transfer portal. You brought in some guys, some dudes. You brought in a new strengthening coach and his staff that look like they're dudes too. So we've done the work as far as the hiring process goes and as far as the transfer portal goes. Now it's just to put it out there. You did the work offensively. You have the players that you want, that you need on the offensive side, whether they're true freshmen, second year, third year players, redshirt sophomores, whatever. You have everything you need, returning offensive line. It's set up. And I think we can shock some people this year. I truly believe that. I think if we just take a step back and just let it play out and not raise our expectations, I think we'll be just fine this year. Because even last year, let's be honest, when Nico left, our expectations went down the drain. Joey Aguilar came in, we're like, who this guy? You look at his highlights, you're like, oh God, he's terrible. Jesus Christ. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? And then he comes out, Syracuse. That first drop back, that bomb he threw to Staley. We were like, oh boy, we got something here. Okay, let's just wait because we got Georgia coming up. And then of course we play ETSU, whoop them. And then the Georgia game. No, then we play Mississippi State. You saw what he did in that game. Brought us back, tied it up, overtime. And then we had Georgia coming up. We were like, what is he going to look like against Georgia? Even though Georgia's defense wasn't playing well because they never really truly play well at the beginning of the season. They don't gel until later on. And for the first quarter, he lit Georgia's ass up. It was 21-7 before you can go outside and take the trash out and come back in or whatever you do. 21-7. He already done. He threw for 2 touchdowns, ran in for 1. He was like 13 out of 14 with damn near 100 and something yards, almost 200 yards passing. And we were like, man, we got something. And that's when that game right there, I think, changed the expectations for the Tennessee Volunteers. And then when we finished 8-5, we looked at the season as a disappointment. In the beginning of the season, we thought, hey, might be. We'll see. I think it's going to be a disappointment. Rebuilding year. And boom, Joey showed out. But we are where we are. But anyway, guys, man, I appreciate y'all joining me for this live. I thank everyone for this. Man, it's the GMAC era now. Anyway, man, you know who I am. I'm Blackout Jones, just shooting the sports. And you know what it is. Anytime I talk about that power T behind me, the one beside me, and the one that's glowing real bright on the side of my face, as always, go Big Orange and go damn Vols.